about that guy in your instance is that you can do him and your Syrian McKellen, and it's the same.
Yeah.
So
You shall not pass by penis. Kept you waiting. Karl, casual mode. The cup of grass, the big bangers, the piece of resistance of the week, our week, your week. We talk games, football, television, films, all of it in a low effort, low knowledge, low talent way. I am Dan. I'm here with my boy, my brother without the blubber, the forehead. Some call him Fodzilla, king of monsters. I just call him Karl. Hi, Karl.
I am.
You can't just wave. It's not just video. You need to
I
fucking
feel
talk.
like
It's a podcast.
I've just been doxxed.
That's a good point, actually. I mean, in fact, if that guides people now to what it is, I've doxed you even further. Karl, we've got 8 talking points this week. It's the first podcast that we've recorded. Actually, it's not. It's the second. And we've been talking about this for several months. You bought a dodgy microphone from somewhere in China.
Yep.
You're wearing a Max Verstappen hat.
It's. I don't think it's actually specific to Max. I think it's just a generic.
For audio listeners, he's wearing a Max Verstappen hat. He's a Max Verstappen fan, Christian Horner fan, Jerry Horner fan, Horner fan.
Some of those things are correct, but at different times. So I'm a Max Verstappen fan now because he hasn't got a good car anymore and he's losing, which I think is great. Christian Horner fan, post fiasco. Jerry Horner fan 20 years ago.
Okay.
So they've all got their time and place.
Yeah. Was Jerry Horner your Spice Girl growing up? Mine was Emma Bunton.
I think mine was Sporty.
Oh, really?
No. I think mine was Baby Spice.
Yeah, Emma Bunton.
Yeah.
I'll fight you for her. Sony sales are in decline, finally. So we were on, I don't even know if this is a real website, by the way, the link, Benzinga.
That's where I bought my microphone from.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Brilliant. What are you drinking? Oh, what's that?
It's a apple juice.
It's not an apple juice. What is that?
No, it's a Brooklyn Pilsner.
Bloody hell. You've fallen off the wagon now, haven't you? Your diet's gone out the window. Piling on the pounds. Yeah.
Back on it.
Soon.
Back on it.
I'm at the gym. You're going the other way.
Yeah, but last time we played football, I was the better player, so it doesn't really matter.
I ran up. I was wearing an Apple Watch to prove it. You can't prove it. Okay, so Sony's PS5 sales have dropped year over year, hitting 61.7 million units sold. Despite this, monthly active users rose, showing strong user engagement. Continuing, Sony Group Corp, which is 15% down on the stock market at the moment, PlayStation 5 has reached an impressive milestone of 61.7 million units sold since its 2020 launch. However, the company's latest financial results reveal a decline in year-over-year sales, dropping from the rest of it's basically saying it's dropping, but pretty much expected at this point, I think, in the standard version's life. So they've released the slim one. Were you even bothered by that at all? Would you ever have gotten one when you were younger, like the PS2 Slim, or is that kind of like console?
No, I don't think so. I had the PlayStation 2, so, and obviously
Big
given
one?
given my age, yeah, I had the full chub, and given my relative young age, obviously I wasn't working then, so that was bought for me. I mean, I'm pretty sure I lived off demo discs for a while growing up on the rough streets of Birkenhead. So
eating them.
Yeah, sometimes raw onions.
Just sometimes meth.
No, you know what? Never meth. No.
Okay.
Because like when you have meth, it's in like a glass jar, isn't it? And that's it cuts a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, at that point as well, I was on like the hard alcohols, your whiskey. So my throat was always,
Yeah.
struggling.
Abused. Yeah, I mean, I had the full chub PS2 as well, and I think I got the slim further down the line, remember rightly, but I don't particularly remember it being very, very good. So yeah, I mean, the PS5 was bound to trail off at some point, and it sounds as if, well, we're going to talk about it in a second, but most of the other consoles are doing the same thing, and they're at the end of the traditional reign life.
Just on the more general sense, though, could this just not be seasonal because it's the middle of summer and
Could be.
probably people buy
Yeah, it could be.
game consoles in the winter for their kids
Yeah.
or for themselves if they are clinging on to their youth with their claws?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, aside from the Slim, like you've got to think about previous versions of consoles as well. Would bring out like Star Wars versions, but this time we've just got like platelets, haven't we, for the PS5, like the faceplates. So there's not really that kind of uplift. But yeah, you're right. Seasonal sales definitely probably adding into it. And I think if you're into your games, you know that there's going to be a pro version around the corner anyway. So if you're wanting to get a new console, maybe this one's starting to chug a little bit, then it's probably worth hanging on and getting one of those rather than investing in a standard base. So
I think that's right. I think. Do you know what? I think. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it is better the fact that you can just get these customized plates, same as you could like if you go back to like the Xbox 360, you can get the customized faceplates,
Yeah.
rather than the companies bringing out all of these kind of like themed versions of them? Do you think that's better for consumers or worse? General consumers, and then the point for your collectors.
I reckon collectors. It depends on how you want to collect. You either collect to eventually think it'll go up in value and you can sell, or you collect because you just, like me, you're an idiot that just likes nice things. And if it comes out with a face of like an Ewok on it, and you're like, woohoo, I'll have that.
How many different consoles do you reckon you've got in your loft?
Fewer than you, I think, at this point. But
I've never been in my loft.
so we have two old PS2s up there that we used to prop up Jesse's cot when he was a baby, because it tilted a bit, and we actually used, so we got our use out of those, which one was chipped, didn't make a difference, it was still the same
Chipped as in like pirated, or chipped as in there was
pirated
damage?
No, it's pirated.
Okay,
Honestly,
just
for the purpose of the podcast there, but the cool thing was both those PS2s still worked absolutely fine, even though they were abused for about 12 months from a jumping baby, which is pretty impressive.
They just don't make them like they used to.
They don't.
Babies, that is.
That as well. Yeah, no, he's made of sterner
Actually,
stuff.
fair, the way the babies are made actually hasn't changed in millennia. But
Move off babies.
Yeah.
Move off that. But yeah, I think in terms of your general consumer, I think it's better because you get a customizable console straight off the bat, which is something that we've never really had before, apart from probably Nintendo handhelds. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Could you get any faceplates for anything else in the past? It's only DSs, really, wasn't it, as well?
The Xbox ones, but they were very limited. The front plates for them.
Oh, the Series X one.
No, the 360. You could take off the front plate.
Yeah, you're right.
And have like custom ones.
The blades, they were called, or something like that, weren't
they? No, blades was the like the user interface, the very early one. Well, I don't know if they used the term for both, but I know the blades was like the fancy.
Yeah, which I quite like that.
It was superb. Yeah. To be fair, you go back to the early that era of design choices from Microsoft. You had Metro UI on Windows phones. This is getting nerdy. Where
he's
you
got
could buy a phone.
On.
You can't see because the camera's well positioned, but there's at least
that's a microphone.
An inch there. Could be. Yeah, but like go back to like the early days of Windows Phone. That those phones were basically just glorified potatoes, but they ran so quick and they look they look great. That just minimal interface, and I think the blades in the early Xbox was great for that as well, and the audio was good.
Speaking of glorified potatoes, the Switch is also starting to decline in sales. Forbes.com, Nintendo shares slumped Friday after Japanese giant revealed lackluster sales for its flagship Switch console. That wasn't the reason, apparently, that the shares slumped, by the way. They found out that it was because most of the Japanese market... By the way, did I send you the snippet of it slumping? Do you know the next day it bounced back immediately? So
Really?
Yeah, if you bought...
Soccer AM style?
Soccer AM style. Yeah, so if you'd gone and bought 15% lower, you would have got that 15% back the next day on your shares. No.
Did you invest?
No,
No.
because I was a wuss.
Oh.
So,
Do you know why that dip happened?
it's because there's a reliance on the American market in Japan, and there's a load of debt that Japan carries from the US. So whenever the US economy doesn't do very well, apparently the Japanese shit themselves and go, fuck, dump your stocks and stuff. So.
Can we afford to get a fact checker?
Yes.
Like a live one?
Yeah. Can't we just like employ either Matt or Graham to do it? And then they could just sit in a corner, like, I don't know, and just Google things.
Could do. Just for the purposes of impartiality, there are other search engine providers available.
Ask Jeeves.
They got bought out by Yahoo, I think. But there was a news article this week that Google were basically deemed a monopoly in the United States. Which is why I say that, because I'm just really afraid that we're going to face some litigation.
Okay, I doubt it. You're wearing a Red Bull hat and saying massive chub. So I don't think so. So key facts. So Nintendo shares fell 2.34% by market close in Tokyo on Friday after the company reported disappointing revenue and profits from its first fiscal quarter. Japan's financial year begins at the start of April, and net sales fell by nearly half compared to the same time period last year, while operating profit plummeted 71%, Nintendo said. Decline, which was greater than analysts had expected, is partly down to the blockbuster successes of the Super Mario Bros. Movie and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom last year. Nintendo said there were no such special feature factors this quarter, and sluggish sales of the Switch. I'd say that sentence. Fucking hell. Sluggish sales of the Switch. You say it.
In which accent?
Not in that one.
For the ASMR fans, sluggish sales of the Switch.
Nice. Which is now in its 8th year since launch. Units of both hardware and software decreased significantly year on year, Nintendo said, and the company said it sold 2.1 million Switch consoles in the first quarter, down 46% from 3.9 million sales the year before. Software sales for things like games also fell, dropping 41% year on year. Yeah, interesting. So, I mean, the Switch is getting that little bit older, and I kind of would have expected it to have dropped off a lot sooner than this. And the fact that they've already, even just through a tweet, notified people that there is going to be a predecessor coming out imminently. Yeah, 2025, isn't it?
Postecessor.
Pardon?
Predecessor.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
That'll be the Wii U. Yeah, I've got one of those.
Do we need anyone there to Google things and make sure we're right? Are you just going to continuously fucking do it the whole way through? Because I can't get my words right, Karl. That's a thing I do. But yeah, you're right. But
Successor.
Right. Successor.
Not opposed. Yeah.
Kind of. You probably get away with it. Yeah, successor. So yeah, interesting. I mean, they're not really giving any reason for it other than, like I said, Tears of the Kingdom came out at a similar time last year, so they're going, well, we're not really going to do the same thing, so suck it up, buttercup.
Why would anybody buy a console when they know that the next one's on its way?
Yeah.
At this point, I think we've both got Steam Decks.
Yes.
And the fact that the Steam Deck, which is comparably priced, especially like some of the discounts you can get now on the LCD version at the lower end, that's comparably priced. But you can, if you are that way inclined, not that we are, of course, you could emulate the Switch on that hardware. So that speaks volumes. And, the level of competition in that area, I don't understand why you would buy a Switch because you're basically just buying it because the ecosystem, because you want to get those Nintendo games, which I can understand. But in terms of flexibility, there's so many better kind of like value propositions there for you.
I think you're saying
And
that
they're
as
only going
a
to get better.
31-year-old gamer, though, rather than a mum or dad who's walking down the street and their 7-year-old is like, oh, you know what? Actually, now for my birthday, can I get a Switch or can I play something with my friends? I think they're still the people that console is targeted at.
But how many more are there left at this stage of its lifespan?
Totally agree. Yeah, but they're still selling them is the point, and it's probably still going to pass the PS2, in terms of console sold, which is insane for.
But it is very good.
It's very, very good. And it was very, very good 7 years ago. And even
Yeah.
then, at that point, it was an outdated tech compared to what was about to come out. So, yeah, I hear you. I think it's interesting.
To be fair, though, like I was playing the other day, I was playing a bit of Breath of the Wild, and I played a bit of Super Mario Odyssey.
Good game.
And they like the art style means that it's not the end of the world. That they don't that it's running a Tegra X1 chip, which again you already said is 8 years old, so it's 2015. It's outdated software, but it doesn't matter because it's like Borderlands. I can still play Borderlands because even though it doesn't look great, the cartoony art style means that it doesn't age the same way. So
Borderlands film came out, by the way. Did you see the reviews?
I saw an article saying that they've moved away from the original canon, and people were a bit miffed about that. But I've not seen any of it.
It's very much Kevin Hart, kind of like Jumanji.
again?
It's like Kevin Hart is one of the actors in it. It's very like what he did with Jumanji. Very like watered down version of it. GameSpot, I think, gave it 3 out of 10. What?
I'll not speak of Jumanji.
Yes. I forgot about that classic reference by the fact that you look like the young boy as he's transitioning into a monkey.
I get that, and I get Teen Wolf.
Yeah, I could see both. Sniper's Dream. So similarly to Nintendo, and you're going to see a pattern here, similar to Sony as well. Over on Eurogamer.net, Microsoft's continued decline in Xbox console sales continued through the last financial quarter, the company has confirmed. In what is now a familiar pattern and not one limited to Microsoft, revenue from gaming hardware fell again, this time by 42%. That's down further on the 31% fall reported back in April this year. Microsoft's gaming revenue overall was up by 44%, thanks to a significant boost from Activision Blizzard, which Microsoft bought for $68.7 billion before its latest round of layoffs. Without Activision, growth would have sat at around 3%. So they're all in the doldrums at the moment in terms of sales, not hitting their targets, which is, like you said, there could be some aspects of seasonality, but I guess when you're looking at it year on year, most people are saying, they're still not selling as many as they were last year. Is that just showing that people are ready for something new?
I wonder if there's also some aspect. Obviously, there've been layoffs across tech in general. I wonder if there's an element of that impacting their ability to just output the level they require to hit those targets. And maybe they've just kind of like worked out for themselves that, okay, well, maybe we're not going to make the same amount of sales now, but we're going to be a leaner operation and it's worthwhile going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I think most of them are probably going, we'll happily piss off our shareholders now and just hold something back for like the next round, which will be, like we said, the pro version of the Switch, pro version of the PlayStation. You get the Switch 2 coming out, and then you'll get a pro version of an Xbox. So what's the point? You might as well keep your powder dry and keep the games in your back pocket.
Yeah, but to be fair, so I think the upcoming games for Xbox probably the most exciting of the three. So I think they look like they're in a better position. So we've got the new Fable coming out.
Yeah.
Which I think will be good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's 2025.
No, it is. It's definitely coming out. I don't know whether it'll be
2025 or 2024.
25.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it'll be good though. In fact, that's probably a good topic for the next set, and we actually compare and go, here's what's on slate for, or that we know about for all three, and then the games that we know are in production and development. Maybe to kind of say, oh well, Which one's stronger? If you were an investor, which one would you go for? That kind of thing. That'd be quite good.
Yeah. I think other than that, this harks back to the 360 for me. So 360 launch title Perfect Dark Zero. So Perfect Dark, the new version that's coming out. If I look back now, I reckon Perfect Dark Zero was a bang average game.
Yeah.
However, because it was a launch title and I had limited games available, I used to play that a lot online, and so I've always kind of thought quite highly of it. Gears of War was huge in the early days. I think, like, I just think that multiplayer is so fast paced.
Yeah.
Very similar to like a Halo-y style kind of you've got your confined map and you just kind of go from there. But I just loved just running around with a shotgun and just rolling in front of people so they couldn't hit you and then just blasting them with any caps. So that was great fun.
And what about when you were playing Gears of War? And then wasn't it Project Gotham Racing was the other release title?
I didn't know about that.
I'm sure it was. I think it was.
Oh no! Oh, a release title for the 360.
Yeah. Was it?
I had PGR 3.
It might have been that actually. I always forget.
I remember driving a lot with the Aerial Atom around London. That was very fun.
And what about in the game? So on the topic of buying things, so Microsoft embraces transparent tech with new metallic sky blue Xbox controller. I'm less bothered by the fact they're bringing out a transparent Xbox controller. I'm more bothered about when you were younger. Did you bother with any of the peripherals that were like translucent or any of the fancy bits? Like if you were going out to buy Game Boy, you're like, you know what? I don't want the classic one. I want that one.
I can show you my two childhood Game Boys.
Show me your childhood Game Boys. Come on, whip them out. And then the Game Boys.
There you go. So do you reckon I went for the translucent ones?
Now, went for a relatively fancy colour though. Brave with the yellow, I think.
It's lime green, that.
Same thing. Yeah. Colourblind.
And then the pear. That's the classic one.
Classic purple, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to put these somewhere that's not going to make a loud noise.
That's fine. It's okay. I didn't bother with them at all. I always went for like the boring colours because I think I was always an early adopter. So I think I kind of always got stuck with like the charcoal. Yeah, that's it. With the charcoal.
Head of the curve.
Exactly.
Leader.
I am the curve.
18 plus.
I meant my frame. The N64 like I got was slate grey. It wasn't one of the like fancy ones that came out further down, like the crystal ones, which were really cool. And then
mine's black.
Yeah, and then I had relatively boring all the way. I think I had the boring Game Boy. I think my Game Boy Color was the same one that you had there, the bluey purpley one. Yeah. I think I had a Game Boy Pocket that was green. That was probably like most adventurous color I think I had.
Okay.
But even then with controllers, never had anything special.
No, I think back in those days, again, going back to my, poverty childhood, you get whatever's cheapest and just wear it to death.
Yeah. Including some of like the second hand peripheral controllers that were just like the Mad Catz versions with the buttons that were turbo.
Exactly. So if I had any like translucent ones, transparent ones, it would have been a Mad Catz one. And that would be the one that I'd never want to use. I'd give to my older brother.
Yeah. And it was just too light. It was weird. It felt cheap. It made noises. It crinkled.
It was cheap. Crap.
To be fair, I always remember that going from the Dual Shock to the Dual Sense. Because the Dual Shock would you could go and it'd make like a really plasticky noise when you do it. And then Dual Sense, absolutely nothing. I was like, that's the jumping quality that I'm expecting for like a PS4 to a PS5. That's quite nice.
The PS5 has got the best controller of this generation. So,
has actually.
Would you buy a see-through? Well, here's a question for you. Not on the agenda, but PS5 controller or Xbox Series, whatever, Elite controller. What are you picking?
Ooh, I use the Elite more, so I'd have to go for that. But in terms of preference, yeah, I'd probably say the Elite controller. I just think I don't know. I like it a little bit better than I do the DualSense. Although I probably agree, the features on DualSense are better than the haptics and stuff. Far better.
So good. So good.
I love that you can get that in the PS Portal as well. So that when you're playing that,
PS Portal. What's that?
It's the thing that's gathering dust on my shelf that I never use. but basically that's got the same haptics and everything as the DualSense. Is nice.
Would you say the PS Portal is the best way to play PlayStation away from your PlayStation?
Yes, if you've got decent internet enough. Like I took it away with me to the Lake District and it actually worked, and I was surprised.
Okay.
So
Very controversial opinion, that Daniel.
as opposed to
I heard Twitter would go wild if you were to make such a statement.
oh yeah, that always happens. I know. It's called X now, Karl. Come on, mate, get with it.
Shit,
right. You picked this out. Intel hit with lawsuit over 32 billion loss. Shareholders complain company hid problems. Oh no, so shareholders complain that the company had problems. Sorry, inflection was wrong.
I mean, no, you were right. You know, no, I think this is really interesting. This because if you look at 5 years ago to now, and you look at AMD is kind of early days of their Ryzen kind of like consumer CPUs. On the on like the professional side, enterprise side, they've got Epic, which is doing really well because they've got high core counts. But the on the like the consumer side, like people are always like, oh, Intel, it's always a safe bet. You always think you're getting good value for money. And then like just the timeline over maybe like the past 6 months of just as people have started to realize that the 13th and 14th gen of the CPUs have got issues. Their computers are restarting. Like it was mad. Like Nvidia came out and said, "Oh, we just need to be really clear here. These issues aren't with our GPUs. It's the CPUs on these systems." At that point, I think people start to realize and go, "Oh, right. Well, they're getting called out now." And it's come to the stage now where
rare.
Intel are like very rare because they've denied it for so long. And then now they've said like they're going to give an extra 2 years of warranty to people. But do you really want 2 years of warranty to a CPU that's defective? I think it's time to move sides.
Probably, I'd agree with that. So we're on tomshardware.com, by the way, just for the story. So this paragraph jumped out. So aside from these legal battles and the Raptor Lake problems, the company is also lagging behind its competitors, with AMD releasing its much anticipated Ryzen 9000 series processors in August, and Nvidia securely holding the crown in AI processing. TSMC, Samsung, and HP Hynix are also raking in the benefits of the AI rush on chip manufacturing side of things, with these companies busy churning out leading edge next gen processors and supporting components to power AI. So yeah, I think it reminds me of like but Apple's kind of ongoing issue with its motherboards, where it kind of hid it for that long, and then there was a class action in the States. This is going back like 10, 12 years ago or something, because I got one of the, I think the Pro, not what they're called, MacBook Pros, around that time, and then the motherboard went within like 8-9 months, and I took it in, and I was able to replace it for free because of this class action that had happened in the States. So similarly, there was loads of issues online, and people saying the same thing of like, it's time to go to Windows, and it's time to, but surely Intel have got that much of a dominant position that it's very, very difficult for them to, or people to kind of move or want to move and not give them a second chance.
Well, maybe there's an element of that. Maybe people say that things are too big to fail, but they said that about the Titanic.
Did they?
Apparently, it's quite a famous thing.
Well, I've never heard that. Okay.
So their stock price has gone back down to 2008 levels, which I think is pretty stark. Well, based on the Japan statement you made earlier, time to buy. It's on discount. There's also like a growing trend, and this is getting a little bit too nerdy now. There's a growing trend in that industry where you see what Apple have done when they've moved to make their own. They're starting to fabricate their own processors using ARM technology, which is I'm not going to get too in depth. It's a lean instruction set, which means that it's a lot more efficient,
right?
In short, and that's why MacBook Pros now with like your M3s, they get a lot better battery life. Much better battery life, I should say. It's because of that reduced instruction set that ARM has. So Intel doesn't use that platform. It uses x86.
Right.
AMD uses the same. AMD is slightly ahead because they're operating at lower lithographies, which is like the thickness of the silicon. Sorry.
So hard right now.
So sorry. But like Intel are really struggling to keep up in that respect. So they're getting it from all fronts, really. Nvidia are pulling ahead on the AI front. You've got AMD who are showing stability and great value for money on the x86 platform. Windows have now started looking at using Snapdragon CPUs, the Snapdragon Elite X, I think it is. That's an an ARM-based processor. So like you're starting to see like there could be a big shift there. And I think go looking at VR gaming, for example, where we've talked about the fact that we need to upgrade our PCs next year because they're getting older. We need to upgrade. These are things like we need to think about now because as those situations progress, actually we may think that we need to back a different horse and we'll get a better deal for it. But I think it's mad, even from a financial sense. Like if you want to make a bit of money, you do think Intel will bounce back because they've got Soccer AM's bounce back ability. Then
do it.
Go put a £3,000 stake on it.
Put £3,717. Which I will never quantify what that's referring to. Karl, it's August the 8th as we're recording. There are games out. Do you want to hear about some games that are coming out in August?
Tell me.
Ooh. Number one, August 1st is Thank Goodness You're Here. I'm over on GameSpot.com. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump over to Metacritic. I'm going to tell you that this is on a 90, which is a Metacritic must-play, universal acclaim. The Jimquisition, I'm not going to read from because that guy's a bit of an arsehole. I'm going to go back to GameSpot, and it says, a very weird game about a very small chap. Thank Goodness You're Here combines cartoonish visuals with a delightful sense of weirdness. Stuck in a quaint British village and with nothing better to do while the local mayor dilly-dallies about, it's up to you to explore the incredibly British town of Barnsworth and help out the locals in this quirky platformer. So I bought this on the day it came out because I'd seen loads online. I think it's just two guys that have developed it. The art style is absolutely fucking brilliant. I can't really compare it to much other than it's a little bit Rick and Morty-ish, that kind of art style. But the humor in it is nothing like Rick and Morty. It is quintessentially British. As you're opening up the game, like the loading screen is like 80s Britain and terraced housing in like probably a northern suburb of Leeds or somewhere like that. Very, very misty, very like downtrodden-y, like hazy kind of day. And that's like sets the tone for what this game's meant to be. And I think like the setting of Barnsworth, it's fictional, obviously. It's nowhere called Barnsworth. There's quite a few places that sound like Barnsworth, and that's the whole point. But whilst fictional, like there's some of the places that are in it, like Big Ron's Pie Shop is like fucking fantastic. And then there's the Chippy, there's the Thumb It In, which is the pub that's in it. There's so many clever little references that just appeal to like the Georgie Doors, the Nevermind the Buzzcocks, all the British humours that we've kind of grown up with. I don't know why I said Nevermind the Buzzcocks. Nevermind the Bollocks. Not Nevermind the Bollocks. What was the one? Not 9 O'Clock News, that kind of stuff. Like all of the TV shows that we kind of grow up with. Or maybe just on the periphery of when you actually were growing up that I kind of watched and you probably didn't. But I would just say like it's very, very difficult to talk about this game and not spoil it. If you're actually looking for a game that is genuinely funny, and I very, very rarely have ever found a game that I've ever laughed out loud at, and for the sake of, I think it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours tops, this game lasts, it's worth like the 15 quid to sit there and genuinely laugh. And there's a couple of jokes actually, but there's a couple of moments in it where I was genuinely sobbing, laughing, because I was like, this is very, very funny and very clever. And it has all the things that you'd expect again from British humour, like quite a few callbacks to previous jokes. And there's one that's kind of like floating around online that isn't too much of a spoiler, but you'll walk past just a hole in a fence and there's just like an eye looking at you, and a guy will go, "Oh, hello. Oh, would you like a sausage?" And then a sausage just pokes out, and you go, "Oh no, my sausage just dropped on the floor. Oh, it's okay. Here's another one." Then another sausage pops through, and you go, "Oh no, that one's dropped on the floor as well. oh, wait right there. I've got some more in the back. And then he goes off. And then I'm like, every single time you pass by that hole now, there's like another experience with whatever's happening behind that fence. And like the moments that happen genuinely are very, very funny. And I'm like getting excited to go back and revisit that part of the map again.
Is that guy just trying to build your trust so that you always think he's going to give you free sausages?
There is a hint of it being a little bit insidious. Yeah. But the whole mechanism of the game, by the way, I didn't really mention it, but all you can do is walk around, jump, and slap. So you can slap everything and everyone, and the bits of dialogue, like Matt Berry voices one of the characters in this.
That's cool.
You've got like several really high profile British actors as well. That I'm terrible at remembering names at the best of times of the people I care about, let alone voice actors in a game. So like every single person in this is like voice acted, and the caliber of it's fantastic. And I think I showed you the Harry Maguire reference as well, which I was absolutely fascinated to find. So, but yeah, really funny, and it's worth it. I think for a couple of quid, and I'm pretty sure it'll go down in a Steam sale soon. So, anyway,
What have you been playing it on?
I've been playing it on Switch, on the potato.
Your Switch.
Yeah, so it was on
Talking
PC.
about voice actors, by the way, did you see about the strike?
No, I didn't actually.
I saw an article the other day, like the
SAG-AFTRA.
trying to get it. Trying to go quick. Yeah, that's it. So video game voice actors are going on strike because of AI.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I saw Lana Pierce talk about that.
You can kind of understand that because
Yeah, it's the same as what actors have done, isn't it? So they did a similar strike, and I'm presuming it's over the same stuff. So
yeah,
you can't take our likeness, and this is voice actors going, hold on, actually, you can't take our voices. Was it you saying about the CEO's voice? In fact, we can't say who it was, where it was like the CEO's voice on a phone call, asking questions and like responding to, and basically it sounded like the CEO, but luckily the person at the end of the phone didn't realize that they were being fished or whatever it is, and it was AI that had populated the CEO's voice because that person's really high profile and been online a lot.
yes.
Okay.
We cannot discuss it further.
Let's leave it there. Volgor the Viking number 2 is out on August 6th. That's on PS5, Xbox Series X and S. I don't remember Volgor the Viking at all.
Volga the Viking.
Volgor the Viking. No. Says anyone looking for an easier time will be catered to with checkpoints and limited continues, and there'll even be speed running tools. So it's meant to be a tricky game. It's going to push you to the limits, it says. So that's why there's easy modes. SteamWorld Heist 2. Did you ever play the original SteamWorld Heist?
No.
Did you ever play any of the SteamWorld games?
I don't think I did. No.
So basically the SteamWorld kind of universe, it's all catered around like robots that are sentient and have character and all this kind of stuff. So SteamWorld Dig, can't remember the name of the character in it, but it's all about you going off into the wild west, and you can dig downwards and you find things and you're on a little story. And there was a few of those, and then SteamWorld Heist was like, I don't know what you call it, but it's like a ricochet game where you have to fire bullets, but it's like a real-time strategy as well. So it's just one character, and then you can load out to begin the game with different guns, and then the whole point is that you clear out all the enemies that are within it, and then there's certain bosses and stuff that are a bit more of a challenge.
So I'm watching a video of it now. It looks like a 2D side scroller kind of thing. I don't think I've played a 2D game since Worms Armageddon.
I think it is 2D, but I mean, look, it's a sequel to a 2016 game. All I'm going to say is it looks like a sequel to a 2016 game, and it doesn't look like it's particularly improved since then. It's out on pretty much everything, so I am keen. In fact, let's have a little quickly look-y, see what it is reviewing at the moment.
The last time I played a game similar to that actually was the Prince of Persia game that came out.
I just couldn't gel with that at all.
No.
I really struggled with it. Okay, it's on at 81 at the moment on PC, so generally favourable. That's what it says there. Okie doke. Quinoa. It's not Kina. Bridge of Spirits.
Quinoa.
Quinoa. No, it's not.
The rice. the right substitute.
It's a joke. It's just Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Oh,
It was the PlayStation exclusive that is now coming to Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One. Yeah, it's an okay game. It's a solid 7 out of 10. I played a little bit of it. It was just like, got like sprites in it and stuff that are pretty cute.
right.
Madden games. You ever enjoyed Madden?
I used to love Madden, so I've still got some of my old Madden games that I had for the 360, and I used to enjoy Madden so much that I used to create in Photoshop my own Madden covers with my own favorite players and theme them, and I used to put it inside of the box art sleeve on like laminated photo kind of card. They looked fantastic. I can't find them anymore. I made a Dallas Cowboys one in like '08. I used to love it. The peak of my Madden career was I had a friend of mine who I recently reconnected with. Yeah, but he didn't speak to me for like 15 years, possibly because he was sensible, and as he's gotten older and probably is drunk more and lost brain cells, he's like, oh, Karl. So yeah, we used to play like when I was like 16. We'd have like sleepovers at his house in America. We'd stay awake until like 6 a.m. drinking Mountain Dew Code Red, and then when the sun come out, we'd toss that pigskin, and then sleep in the daytime. Great fun, Madden, yeah, great fun.
Yeah, okay.
Don't play anymore though.
Never really fond of it. I don't mind watching the odd NFL match, like the Super Bowl as a set piece is nice. But
I think the games themselves. I mean, the last time I played any of the Madden games, I was like, oh, this is too complicated now. Which, to be fair, is a common theme as I'm getting older. I'm going, oh bloody hell, let me just run into a room and just shoot. Even those kind of games now, there's 14-year-old kids who don't have anything to do other than play games, and they just make me feel rubbish.
Tossing the pigskin, 14-year-olds falling off the rails,
learning themselves.
Yeah. Madden NFL 25. I mean, like, who's your NFL team?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Who's your NFL team?
Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. Okay.
I have a Jason Witten jersey still somewhere that probably doesn't fit me anymore, to be honest. But
okay, decent. Black Myth Wukong, August 20th. That's on PC and PS5. This is the Chinese developer, isn't it? I can't remember the name of them. Developer Game Science, I believe it is. Black Myth Wukong looks like a fast and stylish entry into that genre, one where you take control of Sun Wukong as he battles ferocious demons and monsters. So it's like the Journey to the West kind of source material, the Avatar stuff, but in a different version. So it got relatively good previews, if I remember right. It
looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look all right.
I'm just watching a guy basically fighting a giant baby with a bulbous head, and I feel personally attacked, but
all heads matter. Tactical Breach Wizards is out on August 22nd. That's on PC. It said, in the mood for magical combat inspired by XCOM-like tactics. This sounds like a peak game. Then you'll want to check out Tactical Breach Wizards, as you'll get to command the Renegade Special Forces a team of wizards, sorcerers, and priests on Black Ops missions, with classes like the Navy Seer, Stormwitch, Necromedic, and Rebel Riot Priest. It's like a band name, that. Rebel Riot Priest. Are you in the mood for magical combat inspired by XCOM-like tactics, Karl?
I mean, to be fair, I think there are enough games of that kind of type.
Yeah,
like XCOM style games. I played XCOM. I played a game called I think it's Rome Expeditions, which I sent to Pete actually to look at, which was basically a Roman version of it. And this looks like just another. I don't know why you would just play XCOM.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I think one game that I would be tempted to jump in, and that you probably will be as well, is Concord. So this on PS5 and PC out on August 23rd. So Concord looks and plays like a worthy contender to establish team-based shooters like Overwatch and Valorant. But the real challenge for developer Firewalk will be convincing people to give the game a chance in an already saturated live service market. So it's got a really diverse roster of characters. It's got really good visuals, and it's got huge post-launch plans, allegedly, to flesh out its universe with regular updates, all at no additional cost to players after they buy the original $40 game.
This is a console PlayStation exclusive, right?
Yes.
See, I can understand it. Like, I think that's a mistake because
Oh yeah.
I feel
Totally.
like you've got to have that on as many platforms as possible if you
Yeah.
want to supplant the already established ones. But to be fair, like the graphics look really nice on it. I think it'll be fun to play.
Yeah.
Whether it would take off though, if it's not allowed in the Xbox.
It's probably, look, if they're starting to release games on Xbox and Xbox starting to release games on PlayStation, this is the type of game I would expect to see to pave the way for whatever Bungie releases next as one of PlayStation Studios. So
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, this is like the litmus test as to whether or not they can actually make it work and what the revenue they get from a just PC and PS5 first. But I can imagine this is probably already ready to come on Xbox shortly after, within the next like 6 months or so.
Yeah. I'm just checking on Steam at the minute to see if they've released the PC specs, but I can't see them on Steam. But
Okay.
if they're kind of low end requirements, then that those kind of things are always helpful for esports titles on. So
Speaking of PC and low end requirements, so World of Warcraft: The War Within is out on August 26th, obviously just on PC. You've had a love affair with Warcraft. Not tempted?
no. I used to call it World of Warcraft. I spent a summer listening to French radio whilst I was studying for my French CCSE.
Everything's a fucking story with you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Carry on.
So I spent a summer playing as a warlock on World of Warcraft. It was great fun, but I did nothing. I just stayed in the house all day. I actually credit my poor posture to that summer because I used to sit at the foot of my bed. I had no back support, and just like crunched over. So I harbour a lot of ill sentiment towards World of Warcraft and the damage it did to me to this day because I'm 5'9 3/4, but people think I'm really short, whereas I'm actually above average size for the UK, so in height, and so yeah, no, I won't be picking it up.
Should we move on? I'm above average height for my size. I mean, height. Gundam Breaker 4, don't care about it. August 29th, never been into Gundam, so good luck with you if you enjoy that. This one does appeal to me only because I'm enjoying silly games with, thank goodness you're here, but Squirrel with a Gun is out August 29th. It's a grey squirrel, it's not a red squirrel, Karl. So,
okay, shame.
yeah, so it's a rodent, is basically what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
The whole point of the game, you're a squirrel with a gun. What more do you need to know? Taking control of a hyperactive rodent hellbent on robbing humans at gunpoint. Squirrel with a gun looks like a meme come to life. Will it have any staying power beyond its hilarious elevated pitch of title? That remains to be seen. But at the very least, the game looks like it'd be a memorable open world shooter focused on crime, mayhem, and the pursuit of golden acorns. Are you going to pursue any golden acorns? Are you not tempted by that one?
Oh, acorns. That looks quite fun, to be fair. And looking at some photos, you can have red squirrels on it.
Oh, can you? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Doing bits.
Formby and Scots will be happy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm watching a video of it now because I'm ill informed about games, and it's different, but
it is different. Yeah.
But like, it looks like the Matrix meets a squirrel shooting them. Visually, actually, very nice because I think it runs on the Unreal 5 engine, so it looks nice, and that does appeal to me.
Yeah.
But I'm probably not going to play it, to be honest.
It's probably something I won't be playing, but actually, you know what? It does look really nice. This Visions of Mana. So I think it's taken 15 years to get this remake out. It's not a remake, sorry, a new game out. When in between, there's been a shitload of remakes and remasters of this game, other games, pretty much every other game in the Mana series. But finally, they've got, or fans of the Mana series, I should say, have got a brand new sequel, which is quite nice. So that's on PS5, Xbox Series X, S, and PlayStation 4 and PC. Over on GameSpot, they say Visions of Mana looks like a delightfully vibrant old school adventure. As Val, a carefree resident of the Five Village of Tiani, you'll travel to the Tree of Mana to partake in an ancient festival. This journey will unfold across a semi-open world full of secrets to discover and enemies to battle as you master the strategic skills you unlock along the way. What are you doing there? Genshin Impact. Okay. Any reason for that? Or you just
looks the same.
Okay, right, looks the same. Yeah, I think
I don't play that either. I just update it when I
you
go
just
to
update
restaurants.
it whenever. Yeah, that quite literally is what you do. Whenever we sit there for lunch, you just update the fucking game. I'm there at Marvel Snap. I've got 4 matches out the way, and you're like, nope, still going. Okay, and then the last notable game for the month that I'm aware of, Star Wars Outlaws. So this is on August 30th on PC, PS5, and Xbox. So 3 years after Lucasfilm revived the Lucasfilm Games label, opening the doors for more game studios to take a crack at the franchise, Ubisoft's open world Star Wars game is ready to drop from hyperspace and tell a new story in that galaxy. Look, massive entertainment. I think this doesn't look great to begin with. I think this looks like a Far Cry game in space, and that is fine. I think it'll be fun. I don't think it's gonna, no pun intended, set the world on fire. And I'm not really bothered about like another Han Solo kind of character, bouncing around in that universe, quipping and trying to be the lovable rogue. Like my heart is full of lovable rogues, so I don't need any more. So I'm going into this skeptical. Wait, I mean, have you played any of the Star Wars games recently? It's not really your thing, is it?
No, not really. I think the last Star Wars game I played a lot of was Battlefront 2, which is obviously now a dated title.
Still looks good.
It still does look good. And if you look at some of the YouTube clips of people who like went on to mod the game for like the high resolution texture packs, they made that game look unbelievable, especially given the time. But no, I mean, looking through a little bit of Outlaws, I reckon if you went back, 20 years time, you'd look at a game like that and go, "Wow, that's amazing." And now I just look at it and just go, "There's so many games that look similar to that caliber." I'm like, it's hard to get excited about it.
Yeah, totally. I think that's the
I mean,
point.
what's better than Rocket League? Just kidding.
That evergreen comment. EAFC is not better than Rocket League, yet we still play it and persist with it and get frustrated by it. So
It's just because you're a more effective player in EAFC, and otherwise, I see how stressed you get on Rocket League when you're not the dominant player, and in EAFC where you have your little moments where you do really good stuff, you're a happier person, and we're here kind of was philanthropically to support that in you. So
okay, appreciate that. Thank you. Still not allowed to buy me a coffee machine. Speaking of deals, so I'll give you mine. So we've got 2 deals. We got to pick one each this week. So the one that I picked out, so Final Fantasy 12: The Zodiac Age is on sale at the moment on Steam. You can get it from greenmangaming.com for £14. That is a historical low. That's greenmangaming.com for £14. That's 60% off the £34.99. It is the Zodiac version of it, so you get the Zodiac system, and that is probably like the 3rd best Final Fantasy game. And it's probably one of the best entry points as well for new players into the series. So I think it's got that high fantasy element, and at the same time, it's still traditional JRPG, turn-based, with a really cracking story. So give that a go. Karl has picked something that is out of stock on pretty much every fucking website.
And not even on sale either.
Not even a deal.
No.
Go on, mate. What have you picked?
No. I picked the PSVR 2 PC adapter.
Why? Why have you picked it?
Well, in combination in a lot of ways, because recently the actual headset itself, or headset and controllers, they were reduced in price to I think $350 dollars or pounds, and that's probably more of the deal. But the fact that the adapters come out now and really opened up, it's opened up the Steam ecosphere, so you PC VR games like Half-Life Alyx. I just think now I think there's going to be a renaissance for the PSVR 2, and because of the reduced price overall now, where you get access to both ecosystems on the PlayStation as well as on the PC, I think it's a great deal for gamers.
Yeah, I think it is. I think Half-Life Alyx is a game that I'm really, really keen to play. Pretty sure I saw it go on discount. Yeah, it is as well. It's on discount at the moment. So
And if you were Valve, you'd put the price up in preparation.
yeah, you would do. So it's you can get it for £16.99 at the moment, which is 66% off on Steam. So that's pretty fucking good. So you can go and play probably the best VR game straight away on PSVR 2 for £17. It's a Valve game as well.
Better than Walkabout Golf.
I don't know. I really like that game. I do like the game.
Good game.
Yeah, I mean, I've read and I'm reading off Forbes again. So obviously the VR2 sale, it put it down way, way low, but it's still being outsold by the Quest. Yeah.
But since the price drop, though, wasn't there an article about
No, still
how
double.
they massively increased?
No, it's increased. It's gone up, but basically monthly unit sales of the Quest 2 and 3 together are at roughly like 20, let's say 21,000 units. See if I can find the actual numbers so I'm not talking out my arse. Yeah, while the discount appears to have resulted in a nice boost in unit sales of PSVR 2, to put things into perspective, we can still see that's a far cry from the number of Quest 2 and Quest 3 units Meta has been selling. So I'll try and find it and send it over to you. But essentially it's selling roughly about 1,000 units in the States on Amazon a month. Whereas the MetaQuest is 2 and 3 together selling roughly about 21,000. So it's still 20 times less popular than the Quest 2 and 3.
Well, in that case, I'll take back everything I've said.
Why is that? Is it just the fact because it's, I don't know, it's not tethered to a system, so therefore it's more popular? It must be.
Because you don't have to buy a...
You've gone quieter.
I have. Sorry, I tried to disguise a burp.
Don't do that halfway through.
Say again?
Never do that halfway through a podcast.
Sorry, I didn't. I wanted to burp, but I didn't want to.
You're still quiet.
Down there.
Still quiet.
That's
terrible.
Quiet now. It's, oh my god.
Amateur hour.
We can cut this
amateur hour.
Is it better now?
Yes, you are the PSVR 2 of this conversation. I'm the Quest 2 and 3.
Lower than I thought it was.
Lower. But yeah, to be fair, like $49.99 to play, to basically open up all PC games and the discounts that come with them as well. I think it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's worth it. Okay. That's pretty much everything I want to talk about. You got anything else you want to go through?
I don't have anything else to talk about.
Thank God for that. That's okay. We've been casual mode. Yeah. Don't really have an outro or any way of...
because that would be kind of the antithesis of casual mode, wouldn't it? So
just keep casual that way.
Yeah, I mean, and also just for the one person listening, we haven't decided to call it that so we can be low energy. It's actually because we're such high energy characters. For us to be low energy, it takes a lot of energy, which is kind of but yeah. Okay, so we're gonna try and release for the purpose of anyone listening, not one person. Hi, Mum. Even though I haven't spoken to my mum in 4 years. Hi, Mum. We're gonna try and release every Friday on YouTube and Spotify. That seems like a sensible time to do it. So yeah, tell your friends or friend, or one, just anyone, just or your casual lovers. Leave it there. Bye.